when I first started collecting for the Sega Genesis, um, and I was looking for the 32X and the Sega CD, I saw that um, there's a huge shortage of the original 32X patch cables that connect the Sega Genesis to the 32X. Um, and I saw that the reason that they're so rare is because there are no third-party alternatives. There are ones that are sold, there are ones that are like Chinese brands, there are ones that are Retrobit, I believe, and I don't think those work very well. Um, and so I bought one of the just Chinese-made cheap patch cables and went to see if I could get it working to make this an actual alternative to the original one. So this one was probably about $2.50, $3, shipped from China. It took a while to get here, but when I plugged it in, I noticed that it didn't really give me good video, as well as it, actually I don't believe it gave me any video at all. I don't think it worked. It just gave me a loud buzzing and ringing, as if something was being, like some signal was interfering. And I discovered that, on an original AV cable on a Genesis and Mega Drive, so like the actual analog cables, and this is what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the pins in here. You can't really see that on camera, that's why I kind of wrote it out on paper here. I know this isn't the best way to do this, but on a regular one like these, you have the pins like this. You have a row of 3 with 1 missing, a full row of 4, and then 2 in the middle. Whereas on the 32X patch cables, you have 3, 4, but then you only have 1. There's no pin here like there is on this one. And on the third-party cables, they have not taken this pin away. It's just 2 ports that look like this. And so I discovered that this pin right here is used to transfer power through the cable. And since both the Genesis and the 32X both have a power supply, when you plug these third-party cables in that have this pin, it's overloading it, and it's sending too much power into the circuit, and it's not able to output a signal. And so like I said, I bought one of these for about like $2. I'll show a video on eBay in a little bit. And what I actually did, again, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this very well. There it is. I used some very fine pliers to break out that pin, and it was pretty hard. I had to bend it and twist it all kinds of ways. I was able to break it out. You can see it's just a little metal nub down there now, so that when I plug this in, it doesn't connect. And this one is not as obvious because I was only able to break it off about halfway. So yeah, all you need to do is get these cables and remove that pin, and they will work just fine as if they're original cables, because that's exactly how the original cables are. So you can also, I used pliers. You could probably also use some fine flush cutters, or if you have really small wire cutters, you can use that. Just be careful of the other pins. I'd recommend buying 2, since they're probably going to take a while to ship. Buy 2 in case you mess one up. For example, when I was twisting these around to get the pins out, I actually bent a ton of the other pins, and when I took the pin out, I had to make sure I bent all the other pins back, or else they would have been bent, and when I tried to shove them into the console, it would have probably bent them more and broken them. So just be aware of that. After you do it, make sure you bend the pins back to this exact configuration so that they're all perfectly straight. If they're a little bit bent, but they're at least in the right areas, you can be able to put it into the console and it'll actually straighten them out a little bit. But take a picture of it, or keep this in mind and use like a pencil or like a pen to just like, get in there and bend the pins back where they should be. As you can see, I have put the cable back, and I have Doom in the 32X, and it's working just fine. It's playing the demo here. I'll hit start the game. There you go, it's working. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, just leave it in the comments, let me know. I can try to help you out, but that just goes to show that even the cheap cables can still be salvaged to work. Alright, so I just searched for Sega 32X cable on eBay, and I sorted by lowest price, and I had to scroll mostly to the bottom until I even started to see OEM cables like this one. This one's about $20, 17 plus shipping. It depends on where you are. Here's one that's oh, this is a Model 1 patch cable. So if you have a Model 1, it's going to be even more expensive because you got to buy that too. That's a new one right there. So that was the only OEM one so far on here. What is this one? This is a Model 1. It doesn't say OEM, and I highly doubt it is because there's 223 of them sold. This one says OEM authentic. $28.49 is a patch cable for the Model 1 as well. No Model 2s. That is this original? I don't know about this one, but it's $67. It says OEM, but it also says China. So, as you can see, they're in very high demand because they're very rare. And like, look at this one, $131. They're very rare because people snatch them up and they get lost, I assume. And so you can't even find them on here. So if you search Sega 32x cable and you scroll all the way to the top, if you sort by lowest price, there's this one right here for $1.51 plus 99 cents shipping to where I am from China. So that ends up being about $2.50. And I believe this is the one I have. As you can see, it's 9-pin right there. All you gotta do is break out that 9th pin, and you're good to go. I'd suggest buying a couple of these just in case. You're not really losing much if you buy more than one and you get it on your first try. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope I helped some of you out there who are wanting to get a 32x but didn't want to hunt down all the pieces for it, because it's not uncommon for the cables of the 32x to go for a lot more than the actual 32x itself. So I hope I helped someone. Thank you for watching. See you guys later.